familiar with. But I'm going to play the melody singly so you can all hear it, and I'm going to ask you to indulge me in it. And then I will play it again just with the melody so that you can pick it up easily. And the final hymn is one that the choir has introduced to you last year, and we sang it again at the end of choir this year as a congregational hymn. So again, I'm asking you to indulge me. It happens to be my current favorite hymn. So I hope you enjoy it and sing out as best you can, and at least enjoy the words, if nothing else. So again, welcome to the service this morning.
We are here to abet creation and to witness to it, to notice each other's beautiful face and complex nature, so that creation need not play to an empty house. And Gordon is going to light the chalice for us. And so please join me in reading the affirmation as we light the chalice candle, followed by the peace candle. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. Oh, opening hymn. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Our opening hymn is Peace, the Perfect Word, number 161 in the Gray Hymnal. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come to the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-dawning stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. We're going to do a prayer, an unusual prayer. I'm going to read a passage from Willa Cather's My Antonia. And then we're going to follow that with about a vegetable garden leaning up against a pumpkin. The earth was warm under me, and warm as I crumpled it through my fingers. Queer little red bugs came out and moved in slow squadrons around me. Their backs were polished vermilion with black spots. I kept as still as I could. Nothing happened. I did not expect anything to happen. I was something that lay under the sun and felt it, like the pumpkins. And I did not want to be anything more. I was entirely happy. Perhaps we feel like that when we die and become a part of something entire, whether it is sun and air or goodness and knowledge. At any rate, that is happiness, to be dissolved into something complete and great. When it comes to one, it comes as naturally as sleep. temperature. So this is Messenger by Mary Oliver. My work is loving the world. Here the sunflowers, there the hummingbird, equal seekers of sweetness. Here the quickening yeast, there the blue plums. Here the clam deep in the speckled sand. Are my boots old? Is my coat torn? I am no longer young and still not half perfect. Let me keep my mind on what matters, which is my work, which is mostly standing still and learning to be astonished. The phoebe, the delphinium, the sheep in the pasture, and the pasture, which is mostly rejoicing, since all the ingredients are here, which is gratitude, to be given a mind and a heart, and these body clothes, a mouth with which to give shouts of joy, to the moth and the wren, to the sleepy dug-up clam, telling them all, over and over, how it is that we live forever. Today's offering will now take place to help support this church and its works. And here we are, it's time for the sermon. Right. So the theme is hope and resilience in the garden. And again, being a writer, I brought books. And I brought flowers. I brought dandelions. I'm going to put them right here. I love dandelions not just because of their cheery yellow, because it's one of the first flowers to bloom in the spring. and therefore an important source of pollen for the early bees. I know we just had flower service here a couple weeks ago, but I'm doing a garden-themed service today because summer is short, the flowers are fleeting, and the world is dreary and worn-torn beyond measure. So I thought I'd focus on that which brings us joy instead of the daily misery we've become so accustomed to. And what is more joyous or miraculous than a flower? And yet, when I first started gardening back in the 70s, I thought that growing flowers just for the sake of beauty was frivolous, and that real gardeners grew only vegetables and trees. I believed the value of a plant was in how it could best serve human appetites. It was not until later in my gardening life that I understood that there was nothing frivolous about flowers. Flowering plants were revolutionary in their appearance on Earth 200 million years ago, since they evolved in a world dominated by moss and algae that reproduced asexually by cell division or spores. Pollen was a game changer. Humans would not be here if flowers hadn't come along, because pollen and seeds provided the energy for birds and small mammals to develop, including the shrew-like insectivore that weighed less than half a pound, had a long tail, and was the precursor to our own species, the humans. Many insects of the world depend upon the pollen in flowers, and most birds depend upon those insects for their sustenance. And some birds, like the hummingbird, fuels its body directly by burning nectar. So a world without flowers would mean a world without insects, and without insects we'd quickly lose both avian and mammalian insectivores, resulting in a cascading effect that would lead to mass extinctions, including our own. As it is, a quarter of wild bee species have gone missing from public records since the 1990s, and we have lost 45% of all insects on Earth since 1974. Almost 50% in 50 years due to pesticides, pollution, and climate change. How does climate change kill insects? Let me tell you about environmental cues. Flowers must be in bloom at the same time as their pollinating insects arrive, and many of those insects hatch at specific temperatures. Abnormal heat for a region can speed up or slow down an insect's breeding cycle, which results in them showing up too early or too late for flowers to be pollinated. This means that because the vast majority of insects are specialists, meaning they can only feed on one particular bloom, both the flowers and the insects will die off. This disruption is a key feature of the ecological response to climate change. And by disruption, I mean death. Death. Here I am wanting to be positive and wax poetic about the beauty of flowers, and I find myself drifting off into the accustomed misery. I can't seem to escape it. Every time I ponder any aspect of the natural world, the path always leads me to consider what we have done to it. My mind goes from the perfect bud immediately to thoughts of the fallen petals and the shattered death of beauty. But no gardener would be a gardener if they did not live in hope, which is something that must be cultivated as intensely as any hybrid rose. It is important on the hard days to go outside and put your feet down on the earth. In the depths of despair about the world, I only have to work among the flowers and their attendants, the butterflies and bees, or taste a few raspberries from the brambles to become rejuvenated. Because there's a strong connection between pleasure and hope. In any season, the outdoors offers its gifts. I could also nurture hope through my reading life. And for me, some of the best books for instilling hope are gardening books. One of my favorite even has hope in the title. Nature's Best Hope by Douglas Talmage. I call him Doug Talmage. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with it, and if not, I'd be glad to loan it to you. Talmage Talamy is a noted entomologist, which means he studies insects. And he starts off by explaining the dire situation we have gotten ourselves in with the reckless global destruction of those insects. He writes from the grim perspective that we, the humans, will not survive the demise of the natural world. And yet his words build hope with every page because he has a plan. Based on the underlying premise that in order to save species, particularly the insects who are pollinators of wildlife food source, we must save habitat, and those habitats must be connected. His proposal is this: what if each American landowner made it a goal to convert half their lawn to productive native plant communities? It could restore 20 million acres of what is now ecological wasteland and would be the country's largest park system. Insects are fussy about what plants they eat, so Talamy writes that we should aim to meet the nutritional needs of the local insect specialists, and then the generalists will follow. That butterfly bush we all have in our yards might attract monarch butterflies, but without milkweed, they won't have any place to lay their eggs. So he makes a case for planting both. He lists oak, cherry, and willow as the best native trees for hosting caterpillars, an important food source for birds. In fact, Talamy says that white oak is the very best tree you can plant in your yard for the wide range of wildlife that depend on it. Native pachysanthera, tickweed, woodland phlox, asters, foamflower, and wild ginger are all attractive natives. And he begs that we redefine our notion of what a weed is, since they are often host to important pollinators. Mugwort, goldenrod, and plantain need a place in our yards in order to help heal the wider world. And do not blame them for your allergies, which are particularly bad today, since government policy plays a role in higher pollen counts. Starting in the 1950s, the USDA recommended planting male trees and shrubs in municipal areas to prevent messy fruit and seeds from littering the landscape. But they still produce pollen, and because of that recommendation, there are significantly fewer female plants to absorb that pollen, so there's been an increase in seasonal allergies. This is a reminder that government policy has a strong influence on our environment. Voting matters, as does lobbying for better environmental policies. One of the reasons that this book actually instills hope because it gives readers something concrete to do to help the environment. It was a call to action, and I acted. And my garden has many more pollinating plants than it used to. And these plants are often targeted for specific insects. Talamy has a national organization based on his book to encourage citizens to trade out some or all of your lawn for native plants called Homegrown National Park. You can find it online and sign up for their emails. Spare yourself some environmental grief this year by taking action. If you don't have a garden of your own, ask for more plantings in your public gardens. Taking action is also the exact same cure for political hopelessness as well. I support organizations that have a plan, and I follow through on suggested actions, either by writing postcards, or canvassing door to door, or making phone calls. I don't feel I need to do any of it well. I just need to do it, and then hope for the best. The same with planting natives. We must not let perfection get in the way of the good. Talamy would have us rip up all our butterfly bushes, since he believes they are junk food bugs, the junk food for bugs, and keep insects from seeking out the plants they really need to reproduce. I am a proponent of planting native species, but not as adamant as Talamy. Nature certainly isn't. Nature wants all species spread far and wide, and doesn't much care where any of them originated. If there are enough blossoms of a wide variety, everyone will get fed. I have often wondered if and where humans fit into the web of life, and it might well be to move plant material around the world. At any rate, nature finds a way forward in this world, and so can we. Many living things live precariously close to extinction, even ourselves, but nature can swing back if given the smallest opportunity. Witness the dandelion. It thrives in challenging conditions, pushing through the smallest crack in the concrete. In these uncertain times, we can be that dandelion. And now, the unison prayer we will read together. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of all of us all, loving God in whom is heaven. The hallowing of your name echo through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain and hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In the times of temptation and test, strengthen us. From trial to grace to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. Our closing hymn today is number 163 in the Great Hymnal, For the Earth Forever Turning. Closing words are from May Sarton, number 691 in the Great Hymnal. Help us to be always hopeful gardeners of the Spirit. Who knows that without darkness nothing comes to birth, as without light nothing flowers. Please join me in the song of parting. We extinguish this flame, but not the light